Alright, let's try this again. Take 3. Apparently the cats think it's completely normal for me to stare at a computer screen forever, but get a little concerned when I start talking to it. My name's Dr. Deadwax, or Mark as everybody calls me, and I just want to take this opportunity to introduce myself to the vinyl community here on YouTube. I've been watching all your videos, getting a lot of inspiration from everybody, getting a lot of great ideas from everybody, looking inside my own collection in a different way, digging through the bins in a different way. It's been a lot of fun to watch all your videos. About 2 weeks now I've been watching them, and so I thought I would jump in. I've collected music my whole life, vinyl from about the age of 10. First record I ever bought was Captain Fantastic and the Brown-Haired Cowboy by Elton John. I still have that somewhere. Collected music all through high school, spent a lot of time I'm from the Toronto area, so spent a lot of time in a record store in Scarborough called Star Records, where they used to order all kinds of stuff from the UK for me. They're gone, but there's still one in Oshawa if you're out that way. And the other place I spent a lot of time was a place called Peter Dunn's Vinyl Museum, which is on Yonge Street in downtown Toronto, next to the flagship A&A and Sam the Record Man stores. Those were good old days. And I was like most people, I got out of vinyl when digital came in, with the promise of perfect music forever. Of course, we know that didn't turn out to be true. Got back into vinyl in 2000, got back out of vinyl, wasn't happy with the whole playback that I was experiencing, but I had a stroke 4 years ago today, and after that my wife said you should get back into the music, because I couldn't do what I used to do for a hobby because that was tied into what I did with work, but I had, issues, medical issues that didn't allow me to do that anymore, so I started focusing back on the music, and then I finally got back into the vinyl. Thankfully I'd kept all my vinyl since the first record I ever bought, and even in the time that I wasn't playing vinyl, I was still buying vinyl if I came across it at Goodwill or a garage sale or something, and it was music that interested me that was a good price. I still bought it. Must have bought 300 or 400 pieces in the period of time I didn't even own a turntable, so it's always been of great interest to me. Now, what else do I want to say? I'm into all kinds of music, and I'm into looking at the Deadwax. That's why I took the name. I'm into first pressings. I'm into country of origin pressings. I'm into early plates. It's the part of the hobby that I find interesting, and watching everybody here, and I'm learning stuff about all of that kind of stuff here too. And so I thought I would just show this is what I bought in the past week, and it kind of reflects what I'm into taste-wise and what I'm into pressing-wise. And the first item is it's called Gateway by John Mills Cockell, who was the keyboard player for a Canadian band named Syrinx, who were very early pioneers in electronic music here. Kind of like Kraftwerk, kind of like Tangerine Dream, like a little bit of a mix between the two of them. Very, very early 70s synthesizer works. That album, the first Syrinx album, is on a label called True North, which was created to release Bruce Coburn's first record. So their first record on True North was this folk classic, and their second record on True North was this electronic piece. So it's quite a label. I picked that up for like $7, so that was a really good find. Mid-70s solo concept record, all instrumental, quite fun. The next one I picked up was a record called Passport. Forgive me, I completely suck at holding this stuff up. Was under the mistaken impression that this was prog, which is a huge interest of mine, but it turned out it's like a jazz fusion thing, and that's a first US pressing, and it's really good music, and it cost me a deuce. The next one is Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. This is a first Canadian pressing on the Reprise label. It has the fantastic tricolor Reprise label, and this is a U.S. This is actually, while it's a Canadian record, it's actually a U.S. pressing from U.S. plates that was shipped up here and sold as a Canadian record, and you can tell all that from the dead wax. It couldn't be a cleaner, more beautiful copy of that record. $2. Couldn't have had a great rush when I found that. Arlo's somebody I've always liked. I always liked folk rock. I always liked folk. I've seen Arlo a few times over the years at Mariposa in Toronto and other events, so that was fantastic. The next record I picked up was a record by Keith Jarrett, and it's called The Morning of a Star. This is an early pressing on Atlantic, and this features Charlie Hayden and Paul Motion. I'm a massive Keith Jarrett fan. He's somebody I'm avidly collecting, somebody whose music goes on the turntable with great frequency. This record is good. It's pushing it a little with the use of steel drums. That doesn't necessarily work for me, but you know, it's still Keith Jarrett. There's some still wonderful things coming out of him in the process there. The next one I'm going to show is Selling Them by the Pound by Genesis. Now I know that Derek Vaughan and Lazarus have both been doing a Genesis thread, so I guess this kind of fits in. This is a UK pressing. It's actually a UK first pressing. On the back, I don't know if I can hold this up so it can be seen, but you'll see that it's printed and made by EJ Day Group, London and Bedford. Only the first pressing of this record has that. Now in the dead wax, it has what you're looking for in there. If you're looking for the absolute true UK first pressing, you're looking for one side to say Porky Ray, and you're looking for the other side to say Pecco, and this one does. I found this in a store. I've been looking for a first pressing of this for like ever, and I found this in a store for $4.99, and I just plotzed, and I was really happy to find it. Got it home. You know, it wasn't in the best condition. I knew that when I bought it. Side 1's kind of unlistenable, but side 2 is awesome. Cinema Show, just that song shows you why you want to try and find a first UK pressing of this record, and that'll have me hemorrhaging money on eBay now that I found that. I need to upgrade. The next thing I found is something a band I'd never heard of, called Good Rats, and the album is Tasty. This is a 1978 pressing on Rat City Records. Apparently the record was released in 1974, so this is a reissue by the band on either their own label or I'm not quite sure, but in the liner notes it also says that it was remixed in 1978, so it's not a first pressing, but it's something I've never seen before. I've never heard of Good Rats. I'm not sure this band ever got a domestic release in Canada, because I have never seen that digging through the bins. The cover is very Ralph Bashki, Crumb-esque in its artwork, so it totally grabbed my attention in that way, and a little bit of the Zappa with the rat just kind of got me going. I don't know. I mean, I knew it wasn't Zappa, but it was $2. I thought, what the hell, I'll try it. It's actually really interesting. It's kind of like a slightly heavy rock, but it's actually pretty well done. It's rather interesting. These guys supposedly are still making music like 40 plus years later on Long Island, where they've always been. The next one I picked up was an album by Canned Heat, Historical Figures and Ancient Heads. I'm not sure I know that much about Canned Heat. I recently bought a collection of really trounced records that were full of 1968 to 1972 first pressings. not music I would typically go to. So Canned Heat was one of the things in there. So I've been kind of exploring this kind of blues, rock, a little bit heavier rock, Deep Purple and stuff that personally I'm not overly drawn to, and the exposure from this collection of beat up records is making me start to look at these records anew. So I picked that up. That's a US first pressing, and it's nice and clean, and the music's okay. Side one's a little weak, but side two, it really kicks. The next one I picked up was a bit of a rarity for me. It's Neon Bible by Arcade Fire. I don't buy much new vinyl. I'm not a fan of new vinyl. I'm not a fan of modern vinyl. You don't want me buying modern vinyl because every new record I buy is a horrible pressing. So it's best that I don't buy those so that everybody else gets good pressings. But this fits into my mindset that I'll buy used new vinyl because whatever's wrong with it then, it's used vinyl. And I picked that up for $10. I like the band. I'm not a huge fan of the one side of the record etched. I don't understand why we wouldn't opt to give out music instead of etchings, but whatever. And finally, the best find of the lot was A Date with Jimmy Smith, Volume 1. Apparently the cats are awake and thinking I shouldn't be talking to the computer again. That is, it's not an original pressing, but to find a Blue Note record, it's pretty uncommon. To find a Blue Note record that isn't pooched is even more uncommon. This is a Liberty Records, a division of Liberty Records pressing. So this would be late 70s. I have no idea if you saw that, by the way, but if you didn't, I apologize. So to find a Liberty pressing of Jimmy Smith record is great. I mean, my wife and I went away on vacation this summer, and the sole purpose of the trip was for me was to go shopping for Blue Notes and Prestiges, and I had an awesome trip. I came home with a huge haul of fantastic vinyl, the kind of stuff I would never find up here. Maybe I'll do a piece on it one time, a video, and dig through that crate and show you what I came back with. And so to find Jimmy Smith on Blue Note, an original pressing, well, not original, but a late 60s vintage pressing that's clean, was a great find. So that's basically what I'm into. I'm into jazz. I'm into modern music that's alternative or college radio, whatever. I'm into things I don't know. I'm heavily into prog. I'm heavily into first pressings. I love jazz, a little bit of folk rock, and some electronica, some synth. So that's, you know, that haul this week kind of totally encapsulates what I'm looking for. Now, as I watch videos here from other people, I'm learning that I want to discover some more things that are not things I would ever look at. Finally, I just want to thank some people that have made some videos that I've watched that really inspired me to start doing this myself, and made me start looking at my own collections differently. Jeff Reckerman, 1958, Glass Orchid Aftermath, Biosite, Lazarus. I'm going to try and do that 80s thread. My record collection is in total disarray because I'm reorganizing, but if I can find the records to do that thread, I'm going to try your 80s thread. Derek Vaughan, Zip Tie, Dugout Stratosphere. First time in 25 years I listened to that record. That's because of your thread, so that was great because that was a mainstay back when I was young. Mr. Fartboy, Big Star 1000, and anybody else, I'm sorry if I missed you, but I've seen a lot of great threads, learned a lot of great things, and I'm really looking forward to participating in this community. Have a great day, keep the record spinning.